Hey. Right. Hey. Onegaishimasu. Hey, head up and down, please. And side to side. Ear to shoulders. Circles one way. Circles the other way. Arms. And back. Side. And stretch to the side. Cross on one side. Cross the other side. And then close. Hey, Shumen. Y ahí se va aquí. And tight. Yo. G. Yoko. Y. Y. Go. Y. Go. Y. Go. Y. Hey, hands up. Hey, your knees. Back. Circles, one way. Circles the other way. Hey, down. Hey, on your toes. You. Go. You. Go. Thank you. Go. For your hips. Open to one side. The other side. Again, one side. And the other side. And your toes. Raise your hips. And your spine coming up. And your hips again. Marui, circle on the side, circle on the other side. So, open your side legs. And a bit lower. And the other side. And toes up. The side. Hands in front. And knee down. And the side. Knee down. Oh. And the legs. Goes down. Fish coming forward. And back stretch. And coming forward again. Hips up. Hips down. Hips up. Down. One more time, hips up. Hips down. Back stretch. Three. One side. And the other side. One side. The other side. One side. And the other side. Side to side. So, cara up. The outside. Oh. And on top, where? Here. Go. Here. Go. Bam. Here. Go. Here. Down. Bending one leg and moving your leg up. And your toes. And the bottom of your foot. And circles away. Circles the other way. Toes up and down, up and down, up, down, up, down. So, all and up. Easy. And stretch. And then bring back the other side. And moving your leg. Push your toes. And rotating one side. Take the other side. Goes up, goes down, up, down, up, down, rolling the foot. Tapping the foot. King. And stretch. Three for the next team. Time stretching one, and the other one. Open to one side. And change. Then one, extend the other one. And open to the other side. And next side. And next up. Bending, curving your back, sitting up, bringing in and bringing up. Hey, one more time, and back stretch. And legs up. Knees down, curving, sitting up. Breathing in, breathing out. Time, back. And legs up. Down. Breathing back. Sit up. Breathe. Breathe out. Relax. Continue your chin. Touch your toes. Touch your chin. Toes. Chin. Toes. Chin. Toes. Chin. Toes. Chin. Toes. Chin. Toes. Good. So. And chin box on one side. Chest out. Chin position. Change. Chin box to the other side. Chest out. Change. One side. Out. Chin box. And change. The other side. Chest out. Chin box. Now change. One side. Chin box. And extend backwards. 45 degrees. Sideways. 90 degrees. And forward, 45. Change, chin box to the side. Back, 45. Sideways, 45. Sorry, side is 90. And forward, 45. And change to the side. And change and extend the hips and down. Change to the side. Extend and down. Change, extend, down, change, extend, down. Change, extend, down, change, extend, down, and release. All right, so for the next 3 sessions, this one and the next 2, we will be working on alignment as we are doing. We are working on alignment, especially triple alignment, which is alignment of our body, then with our body and our breathing, and then our body, our breathing, and our intention. So we're going to focus on the next 3 weeks, next 2 Fridays, on alignment. Today we will start with alignment of our body, okay, to start with, and then we'll just progress with breathing next week and with intention the week after. Okay, so you sit up, please. So let's just start first with the basic safety elements first, and then structural elements, and then kind of power elements. So safety elements first. It's very important that our foot and our knee and our hip are aligned in the same direction. Okay, so in this case, make sure that your knee and your foot are, for example, moving into the same direction. Okay, if we open that to 45 degrees, your toe opens 45 degrees, and your knee follows in that direction. Okay, so your hip closes, your toes are pointing that way, your knee, make sure that it points that way. Sometimes people have structures where even though the toes are pointing that way, the knee will collapse and will take another direction. So that's something that we just need to be mindful of and progressively try to correct. There are multiple ways to do that, but let's just start just basic things into it. So if your toes are pointing that way, ensure that your knee is following that forward point of the toes. If you open to 45 degrees in relation to your hip, okay, the toes are pointing that way, make sure that your knee follows that way. Okay, so change to the side, to the front, the toes pointing that way, the knee is following the direction of the toes, And if your toes are pointing that way, your knee is following the direction of the toes. Okay, one more time, forward, following the direction of the toes. 45, following the direction of the toes. Okay, that's one, forward, direction of the toes. And 45, direction of the toes. Okay, so it's very important that that knee and toe alignment exists. Now, the next element to bring forward is your hip alignment. As we can imagine at the moment, when I'm standing in this position, my ankle and my knee are aligned, but my hip is back. Therefore, I cannot get up here. I cannot get up. My hip is here, and my knee is here. I cannot align that. So I have to bring my hip towards my ankle, transfer the weight, and align my way up. Okay, so that's why there are two ways basically of getting up in this position. One is if my hip doesn't travel forward at all into this part of my leg. Let's say if it doesn't travel at all, and I try to get up in this position, I know that it's going to be really difficult unless I use my toes and then I raise myself up. But that is by me not transferring my weight, but by distributing my weight. Okay, so in this case, if I'm standing up like this, I use my toes, my weight is in the middle of this leg and this leg, and then I distribute my weight between the two legs. Okay, so let's just practice that and see if we can find a bit of a difference between distributing your weight and transferring your weight. So you are just in this position where your spine, your hip is in the middle between this foot and that back foot. Without transferring your weight, just use your toes and try and down again. Okay, and the same thing, you're coming down, so change the other side. Okay, there is no weight distribution. Sorry, there is no weight transfer. There is weight distribution, which is coming up and down. Okay, so once again, not weight transfer, but weight distribution. Up and down and sit. Getting up and down and sit. Okay, so in that exercise, there is nothing but weight transfer. No, there is no weight transfer, sorry, there's just weight distribution. So if you imagine this, for example, if I was going to ask, and Irena does this in her math programs really well, but if I was going to ask you to open your leg side to side, and then I was going to ask you to raise that leg, and keep your balance, then that would be impossible, because in this position, there is no weight transfer. My weight is just, in the middle, it's distributed 50-50. And of course, if I take this leg up, then automatically I'm going to fall down because there is nothing there. So if I want to raise one leg and do it successfully, first I sink my body, I transfer my weight, and then I raise my leg. Now, that's how we get balance. I lower my body, I transfer my weight, and then I raise my leg. And in that way, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put it down, transfer again. So that's an exercise not of weight distribution. This is weight distribution, 50-50. But this is weight transfer. Move to one side, in the middle, and move to the other side, in the middle. So it's important that as physically we kind of have a reasonable management of when are we distributing our weight and when are we transferring our weight. When are we distributing our weight and when we're transferring our weight. Okay, so we're going to balance our body, we're going to lower our hips, we're going to transfer my weight into that foot, and we're going to raise my leg, no problem. Balance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down. Same thing the other side, bending, distributing, transferring the weight, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so. Okay, so when we are down here, we kind of have the same situation, right? So in this case, if I am distributing my weight, I just use my toes and get up. Okay, but if I'm transferring my weight, I push my hip forward as much as possible into this position, and then I transfer my weight without the need of my back. Okay, so one more time, 2 different options. Weight distribution, weight in the middle, 50-50, getting up. Hopefully it's not that bad. So depending how your legs are, you may use help on your knee, something else, but at the moment just try to practice that. Now weight transfer, when you push your weight into the front leg, and then you step up. Okay, the other side, down, weight distribution, 50, standing up, okay, down, okay, weight transfer, forward, and up. Okay, one more time, weight distribution, 50, up, down, weight transfer, forward, and okay. So it's very important when we do weight transfer. The most important thing is to kind of lead with our chest, okay, as opposed to leading, with our head or something like that. Lead with your chest, move here, and transfer the weight. On the other side, lead with your chest, transfer. Side, lead with your chest, transfer. Down the other side, lead with your chest, transfer. Okay, so it's a little bit of a difference between how, and then this influences how are you getting up from your ukemi, right? So when you take ukemi here, you ukemi, and you get here, that's where the next part becomes crucial. If you are weight distributing, you're going to use your toes, you're going to get up vertical. If you are weight transferring, you're going to pull yourself forward and then walk yourself vertical. So is there any of those two better than the other one? Look, it just depends how you're practicing, and depends how much health and stability you have. If you transfer your weight, you are demanding more stability on the leg that you're transferring to. So possibly if the health of that leg where you're transferring your weight is not great, possibly it's not a good idea. So that's why when, if the health of this knee is not great, for example, or the health of this ankle, I may not want to transfer my weight into that position. If the health of this knee and ankle is not great, I may just want to distribute my weight in between two things and then get up. Okay, so Moreno-sensei specifically when he gets up from his ukemi, he doesn't use the toes here. He basically foot flat, he transfers his weight and he gets up. Okay, so technically, if he sees you doing this, he sees you using your toes and getting up, he will kind of call that. He will say, don't use your toes, just get up. And what he's asking, what he's meaning is transfer your weight forward and get up. Okay, but again, depending how the health of your ankle and your leg, because that's going to require a little bit of checking on that. So once again, let's go back again to the idea of basic balance. So you just transfer your weight to one leg, and then the alignment of your ankle, your knee, and your hip, and raise your leg, and just hold it like that for a little bit, and just play with how does that alignment feels. How does that, it's one thing is stacked on top of the other thing when you're down. Okay, is your knee stacked on top of your ankle, and is your hip stacked on top of your knee? Any kind of wobbling of that not only challenges our balance, but challenges our structure. We need to be just mindful and careful of that, because that's when things pop out of place. So ankle, knee, hip, is that more or less in place? Okay, the other side. Ankle, knee, hip, is that more or less in place? The other side. Ankle, knee, hip, in place. One more. Ankle, knee, hip, more or less. So, okay, so that's the first kind of prosthetic considerations. We use so much the lower body that it's very important that alignment between the ankle, the knee, and the hip is well respected, because when they are out of whack is when we twist our ankles, we pop our knees, thankfully, hopefully nothing bad happens with the hip. I think that a hip injury is a different thing. I think twisting your ankle and getting it out of place, or even twisting your knee and popping it, is bad enough. Hopefully nothing comes out of place with the hip. But so that's why paying attention to that angle to that alignment is important. Okay. So now with your ukemi, okay, one more time, just remember one thing. Okay, your front foot, okay, has to be as much as in the middle as possible. If you hyperextend it, okay, if you contract it too much, if it's too much outside, or if it's too much inside, all of those things are going to challenge the alignment. So the most obvious is like here. If it's too much inside, obviously this is out of alignment. You can see it from the front. Okay, if this is outside, the same thing. This is out of alignment. It's harder to see it if it's shooting forward or if it's shooting closer. But the important thing is that leg, in order to transfer, has to be as much as in the middle as possible. Okay, so if we take Ushiro Gemi, place our leg, and then just that quick observation: is that in the middle? Is that in the most optimal way for now transferring the weight and getting up? If it's a little bit outside or a little bit inside, correct that and put it in the middle, because the next movement of the exercise, which is to get up, okay, is going to strongly rely on how solid that foot is. If that foot is not in a good position, it will not get good. So if you get it, transfer and get up. If you get it, transfer the weight, get up. If you get it, transfer the weight, get up. If you get it, transferring weight, get up. If you get it, transfer weight, get up. All right, so now we're going to do what we've been doing during the week, which is apart from transferring the weight and getting up, we're going to continue challenging the alignment by raising the knee, by hinging the hip, by raising the knee again, and then coming down. So during all of that, the knee, hip, and ankle are still aligned. So we're going to be challenging that alignment a little bit. Okay, Ushirogemi, knee up, changing down, knee up, coming down. The side, up, knee up, changing down, knee up, coming down. Up, knee up, down, up, down. Side, up, down, up, down. Up, down, up, down. One more. Up, down, up, down. Oh, and all right. So anyway, so that's in terms of motion, that's very important that those things are aligned. Now remember, the next thing is in our training, there's a lot of demand of lowering your hips, which means a lot of bending of the knees, and then a lot of either openings or partial turnings or full turns. In all of those axes, we need to be always mindful that that alignment remains. Okay. We remember a few of us have had incidents where, for example, I turn around my ankle, either the back or the front, do not align properly with the speed of my movement. It twists, and then depending on the twists is how bad the injury goes. You know, it can just be a twist, it can be a ligament, it can be a fracture on the ankle. So that's just because at some point the speed of my movement, you know, broke the alignment between my knee, my ankle, and my hip, which is where my weight was. So you just practice on Soto Tenkan and pay attention to your knee, your ankle, and your hip. Okay, so Soto Tenkan, each. Say Soto Tenkan, knee, side, Soto Tenkan, stand, side, cheek, go, rock, switch, change, hatch. Okay, so always remembering that. When Moro Sensei stands up in Hanmi, though, he also doesn't stand. Like, remember your toe, this whole thing of alignment between knee, hips, and toes. Be very careful when you stand up in Hanmi. There is sometimes the habit of the toes facing inwards. Okay, so at least your toes should be facing straight. Moro Sensei's toes open quite a lot. And because his toes open a lot, his knee opens a lot, his hip is more square. And that's kind of partially why you feel him so square. He's not square because just he pushes his hips square to you. He's square because he opens a little bit his foot, his knee follows that opening, and now the hips have all of this space to move and open up. Okay, so when you stand up in hand knee, which is your basic hand position, what's the natural position of your toes? Are your toes definitely not going in? So just check that. They should be at least going straight. What happens if you open them up a little bit and if your knee follows that direction? So, that, because that sets you up in terms of how you want to present yourself for the whatever technique is happening. It just has to do a lot of how your toes and your knees are aligned. So what's the natural position where you land? If you want to land into hand knee, what is the natural direction of those toes? Okay, again, if they're inside, break them straight away. That should not be the case. If they are straight, that's fine. What happens if you open them a little bit more? What's the result of that in your own structure, in your own body? But study that. So let's just do irimi tenkan, with that idea. How is the beginning of your hand knee? Stepping, turning, and then how you end up again in your hand. Are your toes inside, in the line, or outside? Stepping in and turn, where you end up. Stepping in, turn, where you end up. Stepping in, turn, where you end up. Stepping in, turn. Stepping in, turn. Stepping in, turn. The thing of having the toes a little bit open, I personally feel that is helpful because it means that when I turn, my toes don't have to come back in the middle. My toes are already a little bit open. Okay, you step, turn, your toes are used to be a little bit open, then they don't have to come back in the middle. Then that's a little bit of an extra, a one less thing to worry about. So boom, bring the toes back again, the knee back again. You step and turn, toes and knee. Step, turn, toes, knee. Step, turn, toes, knee. Step, turn, toes, knee. Okay? So that's with regards to the lower body. Okay? So now the medium and the top body is basic alignment. Your nose is always aligned to your navel. Right? Your nose is always aligned to your navel. If your navel moves this way, your nose follows. If your navel moves, nose follows. Your navel moves, nose follows. Navel and nose. Navel and nose. Eventually, we know that we have another element like the hands. So hands, navel, and nose. Hands, navel, nose. Hands, navel, nose. Hands, navel, nose. Okay, so that's that, and that alignment is constantly challenged, constantly challenged, right? So we are doing this whole week, these entries, for example, uchi koku nai, uchi kai nai. You begin here, you open. The moment you open, your nose, your hip, and your head open. Stepping in, this is continue, and so on. Okay, so even basic kind of open, nose, and stepping in, nose, continue, nose. So that is always challenged. So that's the frontal alignment, nose, navel, and then eventually hands, nose, navel. Okay, and then the horizontal alignment, which is ear, shoulder, hip. Okay, so that's why when you say she say, sure. Hopefully, it's inside ear, shoulder, hip. That's fine. So she say, boom, ears, shoulder, hip. Fine. Change. She say, ears, shoulder, hip. That's my she say. Now, when I move, especially when I hinge, that alignment hopefully is respected. That's why we need to be very careful that in these where hinging and leaning can be confused. So because people see other people doing this, they go, don't lean, but that's not leaning, that's hinging. Now leaning is very, very close. Leaning happens when this alignment is broken. Now we're leaning, okay? Because if I look down and my head follows that direction, and my ears and shoulders now are not aligned anymore, now I am leaning forward. But if this gets respected, then I am hinging forward. So, okay, so ears, shoulder, hips, try to keep the same direction and hinge. Okay, change to the side, ears, shoulders, hips, try to maintain that alignment. Now up, pivot, nose, hand, navel, ears, shoulders, hip. nose, hand, elbow, ears, shoulders, hip. Nose, hand, elbow, ears, shoulders, hip. Nose, hand, elbow, ears, shoulder, hip. Okay, so those are the alignment of the upper body. Okay, the alignment of the upper body. So now, ideally, what keeps it together? What keeps these, and these three elements together? What keeps these, and these together? Well, part of it is intention, part of it is awareness. We need to be having our bodies aligned in that way. Physically is the engagement of the core muscles. The more we engage our core muscles, the more likely we will maintain positions. The more we engage our core muscles as part of the movement, most likely we will engage positions. There's an element of awareness. Remember to keep your hand in front. Remember to don't look down. There's an element of mind presence. So there's an element of physical presence, which is your core muscle engage and hinge. They engage and hinge. They engage and turn. They engage and move. Because the core muscles keep things together. They help us to keep everything together. Okay, so now this time, just kind of finishing almost up. Okay, last thing we have to kind of constantly practice with our body is this. If you put your hands in front of you and you create a cross, okay, that cross at the level of your center, that's basically what we call our center. Now this cross can change level. Can be in the middle, can be all the way up. Can be in the middle, can be down. Can be in the middle, can be up. Can be in the middle, can be down. So now, that center of that cross is what we are going to try to keep moving, okay, together with everything else, with our frontal alignment and with our lateral alignment, okay? So, put your hands in front. Let's try to start to put things together, okay? Put your hand, knee, toes, knees, hip, hands in front, okay? Make sure that your nose, your hands, and your navel are aligned. Make sure your ears, your shoulders, and your hips are aligned. And now, engage your core muscles and pivot. And relax. Okay, and check all the alignments, lower body alignments, the frontal alignments, horizontal alignments, and the hands. Pivot. Remember to engage your core muscles. Leg alignments, frontal alignment, lateral alignment, core muscles, hands, pivot. Leg alignments, frontal alignment, lateral alignment, core muscles, and pivot. Now hinge. Pivot. Hinge. Pivot. Hinge. Pivot. Hinge. Turn. Step, turn. Step, turn. Step, turn. Step, turn. Pivot. Hinge. And pivot. Step, turn. Pivot. Hinge. Pivot. Step, turn. Pivot. Hinge. Pivot, step, turn, pivot, hinge. Pivot, step, turn, pivot, hinge. Pivot, step, turn, pivot, hinge. Pivot, step, turn, step back, absorb. 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 Step, turn, back, absorb. Turn, step back, absorb. And release. So, all right, so today is kind of the most fundamental part of alignment, okay? So lower body alignment in order to maintain, have good either body transfer or body distribution, or weight distribution, sorry, and also to have safety elements in our ankles, hips, and knees. Work on that. Okay, frontal alignment in order to make sure that anything that we move, okay, my hands, eventually my uke, and things like that, always remain in front of me. Horizontal alignment in order to, or lateral alignment, to not confuse hinging with bending, okay, and core muscle engagement, core muscle engagement, core muscle engagement at all times in order to maintain all of those things together. Just to wrap up, all of that is important in our practice, apart from all the benefits that they already see and believe they're existing there, because the practice relies strongly on, instead of muscular use, but skeletal structures. And the more our skeletal structure is established with good alignment, because our bones, our skeletal structure rely on alignment. Our muscular structure relies on strength. So, we need strength in the different muscle groups to make them perform. That's fine, it's working with your strength. But in order to take less strength from the muscle groups and replace it with better skeletal structure, it's a good idea in general for all our practice. And the essence of skeletal structure is good alignment. So that's why we have to constantly be working on that, because it's through skeletal structure mostly that we want to perform our techniques. Okay, so again, this was kind of very rush kind of session on physical alignment. Let's try to work during the week on that. Check your hand knee, check your knees, check your ankles, check your frontal and laterals, check your core muscle engagement, and then we'll work next week on our breathing and bring it together. Hey. Hey. Arigato gozaimashita.
Thank you.